There's a class of instruments that I think don't ever quite get enough credit, even though you may have heard of some of them before or even heard them being played before. And that class of instruments that I'm talking about are auxiliary percussion instruments or hand percussion instruments. Things like these. So to help give these hand percussion or auxiliary percussion instruments, I have the spotlight and credit that I think they deserve. I'm going to compose and record a song that kind of highlights the main features that make them what they are. Make them more so the leading roles of a song rather than the supporting cast. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one. Alright, don't let the name of this instrument fool you. It's called a clave, which sounds singular, but the instrument's actually both of these wooden rods. And the sound obviously is made by hitting them together. Like so. I kind of like to think of these as a snare drum. The pitch of them is kind of high pitched and cuts through a lot of the other noise in music. We call this a drumstick and we call these drumsticks. We don't call this a clave and these a clavi or a clavi or a clave is. Alright, on to the next one. Alright, now this is one of my personal favorites, a shaker. I think it's pretty cool because of the way it sounds. You kind of add texture as well as rhythm. I often like to experiment with different shaking patterns to get different feels. Yeah, that's pretty fun. So this instrument, the triangle, probably needs no formal introduction, so instead I'm just going to tell you why I think it's cool and how I like playing it. The kind of high-pitched resonating pings of it add a sort of lightness to music, kind of brighten things up a little bit. Good instrument to use when transitioning from different feels in your sections in the song. You also have this ability to kind of like mute it by catching it with your fingers. And you can mix that in with different patterns too. Okay, that can get kind of addicting. Let's go on to the next one. We only got two more. I mean, what else do you need to say to that? Alright, this last instrument here is called the cabasa. I'll admit I had a little bit of trouble playing this when first recording with it. The whole twisting motion like this is one that felt a little bit more awkward than I first anticipated when I tried recording to it. I had to do like a couple different takes just to get the feeling down first. The sound's made by kind of rubbing these beads across these grates right here. Doing this repeatedly on every single beat in the song, I think it'd probably get a bit repetitive. So instead, I think creatively placing the on parts like the off beats or maybe just one beat in each measure. And instead of just one hit, you got kind of a forward and back motion, which creates two sounds in one, so it can be easy playing like 8th notes or 16th notes because you get two noises with one movement, or two movements, depending on how you want to look at it. If you couldn't tell throughout explaining this, I'm trying to get as much extra practice as possible before I record with this because I don't want to mess up and have to keep redoing the recording again. So now that we've gone over all my hand percussion instruments, nah. Holiday season's over. We can't. You know what? Let's do it. So that was a pretty fun project to do. And I think it might actually be the first song I've ever recorded where I used every single one of the hand percussion instruments that I have. So tell me in the comments, how do you guys feel about hand percussion or auxiliary percussion instruments? Do you wish you heard more of them in music? Maybe a little bit less? How do you feel about playing them in general? Me personally, I think they're pretty cool. One of the things that makes them cool is how low the barrier of entry is to be able to play them. They're super easy to pick up, and all you really have to have is a good sense of time to be able to play them in music. But you do have to have a good sense of time. I can't wait to incorporate these instruments more in my music, and I definitely will be getting more of them. There's tons of them out there. So many different sounds and textures to be explored and mixed together to create all new kinds of music. Also, let me know which one of these that you saw today was your favorite. I don't know if I have a personal favorite. They're all kind of cool in their own ways, but I'd be curious to see your guys' opinions. Well, until next time, you guys all have a great day and have some fun adding more rhythm to your music.